Greetings, Commanders, and welcome back to Server 779.
So you wanna be a player, but you weren't too smart. You gotta hit Melt up to get a pink out up.
779 was my home server up until 2 weeks ago. The home of WoW and God Chaos. The home of Night Creek, WoW's biggest player. And the home of CaptainChaos, to whom we're doing an episode of Pimp My Arc about today. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, CaptainChaos. 42 million power. Kind of coming up in the world where a lot of players are at right now. They've finished that tier 7 research. They're looking at that tier 9 advanced infantry research, advanced airship, saying, where do I go from here? Because when you get to advanced research, you really do get to decide. I think a lot of players start off as infantry mains because Stella is so good. But then they realize, wow, you can counter all these infantry mains with some walkers. But you know who's really good? Airships. So a lot of players are in that guesswork or in that boat. And he said, Melt, I want you to take a look at my account today and tell me what you think. Where should I go from here? I said, okay. Let's log back into server 779, say hello to all my guild mates, and take a look at CaptainChaos' arc to see what we need to do to get him to the next level. So the first thing I'll say is that CaptainChaos is a 30-year-old guy. Right? So he's just starting a new family, so congratulations to him and his girlfriend. They are pregnant. So how exciting. I know a lot of people that watch this channel are family members or family members. I know a lot of you guys are dads or moms or have kids. So he's going on with a very exciting part of his life. It's good to see him not throwing a bunch of money at the game. He's got more priorities. So he's playing it from a conservative viewpoint. Still works, still can spend a little money on entertainment, but doesn't go all in. So he's still working on getting that advanced infantry or that advanced tier. So let's take a look at that and decide where he should go. We'll start with that. So he's got the basic research. And, yeah, there we go. All the way up to tier 8, he stopped. He definitely has airships and infantry. And he has Walker Mastery max. He doesn't have the accuracy there, but he's missing some of the Walker Mastery. But mostly airships and infantry. He's kind of committed to that path. Still working on some basic stuff here. You probably want to finish that because it's just easy power and just long-term residual income. You should definitely get it. He's got all 5 there. He's got all tier 9 here. And he's got mostly airships, 1, 2, and 3. So you don't have to unlock all 3 to get to tier 10, right? Or do you? Yes, you do. You actually do. So he still has to get all those to 5 to get to tier 10. So he still isn't really committed. He still looks like he wants to go airships mostly, but just because he's going down that path first. But let's go take a look at his troops and see where he's kind of committed to. So here's airships. Full it out. There's a 10,000. Ooh, 90,000 Stella. And it looks like airships or infantry is fine because he has tier 9, right? So tier 9 does infantry and airships, and the airships do airships walker. So he can kind of go either or. He probably doesn't want to go infantry because there's a lot of tier 9 airships here. I guess he has walkers too. Mostly airships. Okay. So we'll get to that here in a second. This is that new feature that just came out today, so he probably didn't use it yet. But basically what you do is you go here, you click, right, and then it gives you all the magazines just by clicking this blue chest. So, ta-da, 18 magazines. Thank you. Awesome. Doesn't even take energy. Lovely. Wonderful. Okay. Before we jump into the commander screen, I want to point out a pet peeve. This doesn't happen too much in Arc of War, but people have their mail unread. Look at this, 69 reports. Oh my gosh, just click select all and mark as read. Oh my goodness, it's all just junk reports, right? Just click mark as read. Oh my god, CaptainChaos, you're killing me. Oh, there we go. Okay, much better. We got it all taken care of now. Okay, so he was saying to me, Melt, I'm getting up into the tier 10s. I've got tier 9. I don't know how far I want to go. Should I start focusing heavily on my research tab, or should I finish getting all my bridges and buildings to 22? So he's got bridge 22, but he's still got a lot of buildings that aren't there yet. So he's still recycle lab 21. You got to get his cargo lab to 22, armored hull to 22. So he's just got a long ways to go. You know, we'll talk about that here in a second. Do we go with more unlimited crystals into the buildings, or do we go down the research path? I think the answer is a little bit of both. You need to get to bridge 22. It's so important. You need to get to research lab 22 because it opens up a lot of other options. And you need those buildings because they're just way bigger. You can fit a lot more resources on them. You can fit a lot more passive income on them. It's just worth doing. You're going to have to do it eventually. It's cheaper than the research is. You're going to get pinnacled out at the research anyway. You may as well keep your buildings building all the time. Don't let your queues sit idle. Always keep the building queue going and then do the research labs. So right now in advanced development, in order to get, let's see, force field, that's the best one, especially if you're, just attacking stuff. You need medical equipment to level 4. I think you could probably do it now. I thought you needed lab to 22, but you definitely want to focus on getting that force field. You're almost there. But I would say the most important thing to do is keep your building queues going. So right now, building queue 1 and 2 are available. So there's no excuse there. Those should be building. And what are we stuck on again? Oh, also I'll point out his armored hull. You notice the exclamation point. It personally drives me crazy. I hate doing this, but it's a really good strategy. Remember, if your ship breaks, it takes you off the map. So they don't massacre all your rangers. Your ship breaks before your whole army gets destroyed. So the lower your arc hull durability is, a better chance you get zeroed on the first hit. So he just leaves his damaged. It's annoying. I wish you could turn off that notice. There's never really a benefit to having your arc hull healed all the way. It's almost like, unless you're going to get into a toe-to-toe skirmish with somebody right next ship to ship, which never happens ever in the history of this game, maybe since like level 10. It's always best to have your hull break earlier. So, that's a good strategy. I've never really talked about that. That's worth doing. Let's clear his hospital up too. That's going to drive me crazy. All right, so what building needs to go next? There it is. So that's what we need. 200 million electricity, 200 million gas, 100 million cash, and the unlimited crystals. So you really just want to be focusing on shadow matter and farming pure crystals as the events come around. And that's simple. You just go to your forge ship, craft, get unlimited crystals. Now, you don't want to do that one. That one's actually pretty expensive. You want to get the pure crystal one, because that's the best way to use them. You just need a lot more shadow matter and cash. So keep farming that shadow matter, which is literally what you're doing right now. So let's see how far away we are. 26 points away. I'm going to reset that tile for him. Remember, tiles reset at 10 minutes after now, and it's 23 right there. See, 23. So in 9 minutes, we're going to want to reset that for him. So we can start cranking away at the unlimited crystal and get that Integral Mart. Not Integral Mart. It is the Integral Mart. We're going to get that upgrading next. Just because it takes so long. I mean, frankly, once you start it, it's 500 days. Now, granted, you can get speed ups from the space station and your guild helps, but it's still going to be 30 to 45 days without speed up helps. Now, your guild may help with that. I know God Chaos is a great guild for that. They will help you if you ask. So, you probably could rush it a little earlier if you wanted it to. But remember, you can always get your construction speed increases here. And it looks like everything else is pretty good. You're going to want to get that Evo speed up, too, when you get to Tier 10, because evolving Tier 9 to Tier 10 just costs time and the resources, but there is no penalty. So you're going to want that Evo speed up eventually. Let's make sure he has a time and space war at wave 300. And he certainly does. And we'll check his merchant here, make sure he's not skipping anything. I mean, this stuff is just free. He might be saving up his crystals to buy unlimited crystals and, using the what is it, Quantized Paraloper. So it is possible. Oh, it is quantized right now. I'll be damned. It's already quantized. Okay, so let's see. Can we do it? Boom! Awesome! Okay, so he's already quantized for the next 9 days. When that falls off, the only way to get those potions is to spend $50. They haven't had an event come out yet where you can get one for cheaper, so you got to take advantage of it while you can. Now, this the amphibious fish horn is still locked. We don't know what to do with that for yet. We don't know what to do with that yet. Remember to take your Paradragon up to 60. It increases your capacity and it increases your hospital quite a bit at the very last level, at level 60. So that's definitely worth doing. Make sure. Oh, I didn't check and make sure he has his Diablos running. But other than that, the time and space war, yeah, he's got the Diablos going. It's just worth doing. Oh, you can get rid of all these APOCs now. You can just kind of absorb them or whatever. Yeah, you don't need them anymore. You can get those crystals back. Anyway, let's take a look at the commanders and see where to go from here. So the original question he said to me was that, should I go down the airship path? I'm thinking about Rogers, maybe Vega, but Stella's been so good to me for farming and monsters and getting gold from monsters when maybe some other players couldn't, because Tier 9 Stella goes a long way. I've even seen Tier 8 Stella kill a Crimson 9 Behemoth. So, Let's take a look at these commanders. We got a Plasma at 4,000. His bomb's a little low. His gear is pure bomb. Could use a little more attack there. Skywalker's no good. All right, so your Plasma needs work. I'd probably stack Titans on him when you get him. Remember, this isn't a super premium account, so he's not just overflowing in Titans, but that's just one thing you want to do eventually. Double Titans there. Valkyrie helmet. Void Chest is fine. Maybe Shadow would be better if you're running the Bomb Plasma. And then Fabrication if you're running Bomb Plasma. Or Dodge Pants if you get Combat Plasma. In other words, you have high enough troops that you can actually get in fair fights with Plasma. Hoodoo is still just a pocket Hoodoo. He looks like he has a strength and weaken effect gear on him. That's fine. Harder to get value out of Hoodoo, but he does have tier 9 Gaia, so he may be able to just hide his pocket Hoodoo and get some big kills on kill events if someone does get caught slipping or sending Rangers or something. If you're not sure about that, I'm going to gloss over that. But check out Pocket Hoodoo. That's a whole utility strategy. Hoodoo and Plasma are both utility commanders that serve special roles. I'm losing my voice. We just did a 2-hour live stream. Excuse me. All right. So Stella, Vega, Rogers. 60,000 Rogers, and he does have the Devil's Touch. Penetration, Shadow, Fearless. Man, he has really good gear for an account that hasn't dropped tens of thousands of dollars. And he's got Skywalker. I don't really like Skywalker on Rogers. I prefer APOC or a Titan because the whole point of putting a little damage is to avoid getting disabled by Virgo or Ares. But overall, 1 damage, 1 tank item is just fine for Rogers. Devil's Touch is fine. It's good survivability. Really good Rogers build here. This is a tank Rogers build, not a Dodger Rogers build. So pretty solid here. 60,000 is big. Probably a really tough guy to fight in Ace of Galaxy. So Stella and Rogers and a potential Vega here. So the skills 40, 40, 40. Oops. Stella at 55 on Wings of Eternity. But you're getting to that point. You know, Stella is only good up until about tier 10, tier 11. At tier 11, she does start to teeter off. The tier 11 airships have so much defense and HP. It's better to have a stat-ignoring commander like Gilly or Nekajiro. So his airship research is his main concern. Does he want to go down the airship route? I've been trying to talk people out of it. I think a lot of people they get the idea that airships are so much stronger than infantry and walker because every time we see like super high-level replays, it's airship commanders. But what you're not seeing is those guys have the maximum mastery research against opponents who don't, and their troops are literally twice as powerful. So sometimes you get a misrepresentation there. So the question here is, where do we go? Well, I think Rogers, the problem with Rogers is because you're not a super boss commander, a boss account, you kind of have to play high risk. It's not a Dodger Roger build. This is a tank Roger build. If it was Dodger Roger, it'd be Nixaw Pants, and it would be Void Chest Piece. But you got a lot of Genesis airships, and even though you have infantry, which could be Dodger Roger, or maybe you do Dodgers in the front, that's just not really the build you want to go for. So I would take that 100,000 leadership or 90,000 leadership with Stella. If you want to go airships, grab Vega. He's not a bad choice. 1 slot bus. He's not as good as Stella in PvE. Certainly not as good. And certainly not as good as Rogers in PvE. Rogers in PvE does require a little more risk, but usually it's calculated and you'll be okay. So of the 3, I think Vega's probably the worst PvE choice. But he has his upsides in PvP 1-slot busting, which God Chaos is a guild that is going to be utilizing a lot of 1-slot busters to go far in the Galactic Battle. So you'll have a good use in Galactic Battle, which you said was important to you. So I think Vega is a solid choice for you. I hate recommending a filthy, dirty dwarf main to anyone, but given where your account is at and the budget and where your gear is at level-wise, I think Rogers is just too risky of an account to play on your server, and it's not going to give you that value you want in Galactic Battle. And Stella is frankly she's capping out. You can only go so far with her. So you either get rid of your Stella and turn her into Nekajiro, or you go down the Vega path, continue that airship research, and you know, there's not really that big of a rush. You still have to do quite a few buildings. So, for being totally honest, my recommendation is to not absorb out of Stella yet. Stella's still going to be good for you for another probably 3 to 6 months. And you don't have Gilly, so you would have to go straight to Neko. Plus, it gives you time to level up Nekajiro's skills. They have that new Awaken ability now, where you can just choose Awaken and it auto-awakens. It just doesn't reset on you. So that's really cool. I forgot to mention that in tomorrow's news. But that's kind of where the account is at. Listen, I mean, yeah, let's tie this thing up. Listen, you got a 42 million account with tier 9. Yeah, tier 10 is on the horizon, but it's not as tier 10 is not game changing as much as getting all your buildings to level 22, to bridge 20, or to level 22, and then getting your other researches caught up. Mostly that what's it called? Warp shield, force field. God, words are hard right now. And then I would consider switching out of your main. And frankly, by the time that happens, the meta could shift. There could be a better commander on the horizon. Stella might become more useful again with that penetration meta. It hasn't fully fleshed out, but keep running Sagittarius, Gemini, and I think you're going to be okay. I would say kind of just leave it as is. Double Titans with the Black Knight or a Void is good. Magiwell with Eye of Abyss is just fine. I mean, you obviously have this build figured out. You either watch the channel or you watch the big players and know how to do this right. I wouldn't even level your skills up that much more. You don't get that much value. If it was a tier 12 account, fine, I would. But I think you're kind of on a really good path here. Listen, you just need to farm Shadow Matter, farm cash, get those unlimited crystals, convert those crystals back to Shadow. Get those. Oh man, words are hard. Words are hard. All right, keep that Paraloper quantized or utilize it as long as you can. When the Paraloper wears off, start stacking those crystals. Don't get into useless fights where you don't win well on. Don't risk too much. And then just get enough crystals so that you can quantize all the crystals down into how many unlimited crystals you need for your next upgrade. Because there's no limit to how many meta crystals you can carry. So when you're getting on your next research and it says, oh, you need 2,300 more unlimited crystals, you know how many crystals you'll need. That's like 40 million. 40 million crystals to if that was the case. But just keep stacking them up. Get this other research, get these other buildings, and kind of stay away from the troop tier upgrades because, frankly, tier 10 is not going to do much for you, and you're a long ways away from tier 11. So I wish I could absorb your Stella into something else, build a bunch of troops, and unlock tier 11 in this video. But the fact is I think you're kind of in a place where a lot of people are after hitting bridge 21. They say, okay, I want to get to 22. Should I go down the troop tech path? Should I upgrade my gear, or should I focus on the buildings? And you're kind of on the buildings for the next 3 to 6 months. And by that time, we'll see what the meta looks like. But that's my recommendation. Stay on the buildings, man. Keep going where you're going. Keep Stella. Keep building troops. You'll use them. But if you're going to go airships, you got plenty of time to decide.
So you wanna be a player, but you weren't too smart. You gotta hit Melt up to get a Pkwy.